Hello, gorgeous Strippa Yogis. I hope everybody's feeling pretty good today. I feel like today, in Arizona at least, like sunshiny, bright. There seems to be like a changing of tides happening, I feel like a new chapter beginning. So my guest's already here. I love how prompt she is. Sexy Spiritual Gangster is our guest today. I'm inviting her in right now. We'll get right to it. Hello.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm super excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So what's your name? What can I call you by?
Oh, you can call me Emily. That is my name.
Emily, I'm Jessica. It's a pleasure to officially meet you.
Yes, Miss Jessica.
So I gotta say, I really appreciate how on time you were. I take a lot of pride in that part of myself now. It took me a lot of times to get there, and you are definitely out of every guest I've had so far. You were the most like on it, 3 o'clock, ready to go with me, and I really appreciate it. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah. You're very welcome. I'm the same way. Like, I hate being late for things. I hate making people wait for me. I hate waiting for people. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I timed it. I was like, I'm going to join as soon as she goes live.
Have you always done that? Have you always been that way?
Nah, definitely
Hmm.
have not always been that way. But I
Hmm.
think probably just from people wasting my time. And I get, like, once people did it to me enough, I started to
Hmm.
value other people's time more.
Yes, absolutely. I can really relate to that. It took yoga, I think, to get me to start being on time because I was showing up at classes late, missing class after like riding my bike all the way there, having my mat, or having to rush in and like get a horrible spot or squeeze in between people. And I was like, fuck, I gotta start showing up on time. And then when I started holding myself a little more accountable for that, there's actually a principle in yoga. It's the principle of non-stealing, but it's specifically not stealing people's time. And with the understanding that time is the only thing we really have of any value in this world. And so when you are late or you cancel on someone last minute, that you are stealing their time. And that's the most valuable thing we have. So being very cautious of that.
Wow. That makes so much sense. I love that. What
Yeah.
did you say it's
So
called? The
the
principal?
principle is called Asteya, I believe. So it's one of the yamas and the niyamas. So don't, if I have that wrong, I'll look it up after this and I'll send it over to you, okay? Yeah,
Okay.
but I believe it's Asteya, Asteya.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So what's cool, what I like about you is, and I've had a few people reach out since then, I'm all booked up now. I don't have any space for my Strippa Yoga lives, but you were one of the first people to reach
Congrats
out
to
to
you.
me. Thank you, friend. But you reached out to me kind of early on when I first started these, and you were like, I want to come on. And I want you to know, I wouldn't just take anybody on still. Like, not everyone could just reach out to me and be like, hey, I want to be on this. I'm like still very, very cautious. But I went to your Sexy Spiritual Gangster one, which you have a little more of you on there so far. I know Hustler Edu, we're going to get to that in a second. It's still pretty new. But I just really loved your whole vibe. I liked you. I just liked like your energy. I've watched a few of your lives. We've smoked together. You don't know that. But I plopped up your live a few times. You've been smoking a blunt. I've been like hitting my pipe, I'm all and I just really love your energy. So I feel like it takes a lot to just be like, hey, like reach out to a stranger. I know it's scary for me. So what compelled you to just be like, I just want to do this yoga and to come on and just go for it? Like, was that the businesswoman in you? Like, I have this course. Like, what was it?
Definitely. Like, I think I discovered your page through my course page because that's where I've really just been like reaching out to just nothing but dancers and like stripper pages and stuff. And so like I was like, oh, that's cool that she's doing this. And I saw you go live a couple times, and I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts called Earn Your Leisure, and it's just these two guys that talk about finance and different business moves. And they were like, yo, like with this corona stuff, like this is the best time to reach out to anyone. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
might think they have way too many followers or they're not going to want to work with you, but everyone's at home. Everyone's got pressure on them to create content. And like,
Mm-hmm.
you need to just DM like everyone, like
Yeah.
DM everyone. So
Yeah.
I was
This
like,
is great
shoot, I'm
advice.
going to reach out to her and see what she says or she's going
I
to say no.
I'm going through the same thing right now. I was really scared writing and emailed like Jack the Stripper and like a few of these other bigger names that I've really admired for a long time, and nobody has said no to me yet. There's one person who was like, I have a little bit of social anxiety, but everybody more or less has said yes, and I imagine you're kind of experiencing that too. Like when ask and you shall receive is such a true thing. But I felt like one of the things one of my favorite people in the entire world is Strippa Noir, my business mentor, Gia. I don't know if you're following her yet, but you have to follow her because she's like my financial guru and stuff. And one of the things she says is like when you're on a certain path, like you will just naturally attract people on that same path. Like, and I always have loved the quote, like your vibe attracts your tribe, you know? So,
It's
so
true.
yay. So talk to me a little bit about your history with dancing. I know you do a few things. How long have you been dancing? Like, how did you get started? What's a little bit of your story?
So I've been dancing for 3 years now. Actually, New Year's Eve is my strippiversary. So
What a
yeah,
day to start. We're starting your pay me.
it's so funny. Like the first time I danced, I was a go-go dancer before I was a stripper. So the first time like I went to strip, I live in North Carolina, but I drove to New York City because I had a friend there, like a girl I met online, I met her at the club, but I was a customer, and then we were friends online, and she's like, you can come work if you want. So I drove like 8.5 hours to New York, and I just remember like, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this forever, but they say whatever you do on New Year's Eve, that's what you're gonna do all year.
Yeah.
And here I am. I even spent last New Year's at the strip club. So I've been dancing for 3 years.
With your one true love, money. I'm a
Right. And it's so much fun. Like, I would say the first 2 years I was just like on and off, like not really, putting in work or like going to work. But now it's just like, I just love it. Like I've had another job and like difference. So like, okay, my day job versus dancing. I'm just probably just never going to give this shit up.
Yeah, it's lucrative, it's fun. So let me ask, so you're 3 years in. To me, I'm 10 years in, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. I look at you like a baby stripper still. You're a junior in high school to me. You're my, yeah, I love you. I love my babies, and you're getting there, you know? But so I have to ask, with all of the courses out there, all of the stripper mentors, like what sets Hustler Edu apart? Like what information do you have 3 years in that like these people need to hear?
So I would say a big part of me just having a little info is because I've traveled so much. So like the past 2 years of me dancing, I've done nothing but travel. I work for the airlines, so I get free flights.
Oh God, so good.
All different clubs, different types of clubs, different types of clientele. Like I've met so many people in such a short amount of time, and I've experienced such a broad array of different types of hustles and hustlers, so I definitely think like the depth of my time in the industry, like as much traveling and meeting different girls and like hearing different stories is really like developed my hustle like quicker than the person that's probably dancing at their home club, consistently.
Yeah. So you're just getting, and I've travel danced a lot too. And I will say that when you go into different spaces, the hustle is completely different states. There are even different clubs in the same city. The entire hustle is completely different. What are some states that you've been lucky enough to get to dance in?
I would say my favorite is probably Tampa. I love dancing there. Well, I love Miami, so I love Miami, but I don't love dancing there as much.
I hear this. I've heard this before.
Yeah, but I would say Tampa's probably the best. It's just like a workation. New York as well is like a workation. Like you go and there's stuff to do during the day, or you can tan and then you go to work, you make money, So those are probably, I say New York and Tampa are like my favorite places that I've been.
I want to work in New York so bad. I'm West Coast so hard. I've danced all up and down, all over Arizona, all the way from San Diego up to Alaska, like up and down the coast, back and forth. I'm a West Coast baby. I was born in California. Like I've been all over there, but I haven't been to the East Coast much. And the East Coast energies are so different. They're just different. You guys are just like cooler than we are. We're just like, everybody's our friend. We love you. You guys are like, you think you're my friend? Earn it. I'm like, oh my God, how do you hustle in these environments? My mentor's like, because I told her, I'm like, I think I could dance in Miami. I've never danced. I'm like, I think I could do it because I'm so nice. Everybody loves me wherever I go. She's like, they won't love you if you're nice in Miami. They're going to hate you. They're going to think you're a fake ass bitch. I'm like, this is just my heart. She's like, you have to learn to be harder. I'm like, okay.
That's true. Yeah. Miami's like a whole another animal. Like, I mean, it's worth it still, but it's a whole nother animal. It'd be like, damn.
Yeah. Nice. So that's really, really awesome. And you're based out of where? Where's home for you?
North Carolina,
No.
Charlotte.
Yay! I'm gonna be honest, I just think always of the Petey Pablo song.
You
North
know,
Carolina, come on and
everywhere
raise up, take your
I
shit
go,
up.
like clubs always play that for me, and I'm like, really? Like,
I love it. I'm gonna be honest. I really credit me becoming a stripper, and this is just the truth. I was probably have been one anyways, no matter what. But I definitely was heavily influenced by like rap videos as like a youth from like 10 from ages like 8 to like 14, and like I just remember those videos of like watching those parties and everyone just like sweating and getting crazy, and I was like, I want this life,
right,
you know? So songs like that one just like influenced my childhood. So when I hear them in the club, I just get like so excited, you know?
right.
So I don't want you to you don't have to tell us your age or anything, but I am curious. Did you start dancing as soon as you were like able to, or did you wait a little bit?
No, I actually went to school first. So,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad.
No, no, don't be sorry.
So I went to school first, and I had always like been interested in like stripping. I had like tried to apply to strip club as like a waitress and stuff like that. But I was like never really ballsy enough. And then so my senior year of college is when I started go-go dancing. And it just kind of like, I like edged my way in. And
Hmm.
like, yeah, I started when I was 23, I guess. No,
I love that.
22. Yeah.
I love that so much. I wish, I'm gonna be honest, I'm never gonna support laws that tell us what the fuck to do, but I do wish that we just like collectively agreed that we weren't gonna dance until we were 21. And I understand for some people it's like me, I started 2 weeks after I turned 18. I jumped in there, I was like, give me money, I need it right now. I came from that kind of lifestyle. But like I wish that we were able to like protect our young ones a little bit more, like let girls grow up a little bit, because this industry, as great as it can be, it can make you grow the fuck up really quick. And something I always feel is like I wish that I had gotten a chance to just like be younger and like carefree for a little bit. And so I really love like my friends. I have friends who didn't start until they were 23, 26, and I see the way they're able to come to this industry as fucking women and not as young baby girls figuring it the fuck
Getting
out. And
taken advantage. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and there's something really powerful about that. So I think that it's really cool, and that for me gives you a little bit more credibility right there, you know, that you're a grown-ass woman and not just like a little girl, because I'm sure you get all the time, you look 18, 19 years old. Yeah. Well,
That's
cool.
really like dope that you said that, because there's always times, of course, where I'm like, which most people once you start something like, I wish I did this sooner, and
Yeah.
I'm always like, man, like imagine if I like stripped in college, like I wouldn't even be paying back debt right now. I wouldn't have debt. Like I just think all the time, like man, I should start sooner. But then the other side of me is like, well, you came into it more mature. You like had a little bit
Hmm.
more like responsibility when you came into it, so it's like no matter what you do, you're always gonna like wonder what
Yeah.
could have happened, but then in the end, you just gotta be like happy for the path you took,
You have that foundation. Somebody asked, what did you go to school for? What'd you major in?
So I double majored in political science and African diaspora studies.
Yeah, interesting. The second one goes right over my head. What is that?
Every, that does that. It happens to everyone.
Okay, I'm like, I'm not dumb. I'm like, I try to be smart, I promise.
No, it does. So basically, it's just a fancy word of saying like the study of African people all over the world. So
Hmm.
like instead of saying like African American studies or African studies, we study Africans in the Caribbean, Africans
Hmm.
in India, in China, like
Hmm.
all over the world. So it's
Yeah.
the diaspora of Africa.
Nice. I think that if you ever choose to pursue something in politics, having a background in that, especially during this time where we're really working towards creating a big change in the way the world works, I think that having that background and that and study of African cultures all over the world is really going to be assistive to you. And then add the stripper sales techniques on top of that, you're going to be killing it wherever. I'm ready for you to be like the next president. I'm like, let's do this. Come on, make some change. Yes. So real quick before we get started on yoga, I wanted to go back to you were talking about how you never know, like you wish you thought about like, oh, if I'd started younger, and we're always going to kind of have that the grass is greener on the other side. Something I find really interesting is my best friend and me, my oldest friend, we started stripping the same night together. You know, she's a few months older than me. So as soon as I turned 18, I moved to Tucson. She had already been living here, and we went and started stripping together. Pretty quickly, I stuck with it, but pretty quickly, she was in a yoga teacher training at the time. And I was like, I had done yoga, but I wasn't like taking it seriously. But she was doing her yoga teacher training, and it was just like, too much for her, like the mixture of the two worlds, because you know there's a lot that happens in the strip club that yoga is just like, let's avoid this, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
And so she had some like conflicting feelings with that, and so she ended up leaving the club, whereas me, I wasn't really pursuing yoga at that time, so I dug right into the club. And our paths that were like, we're here, we were best friends as teenagers, you know, diverged for this little bit, where I went to the strip club world and she went to the yoga world, and we've stayed friends this entire time. But it's interesting, as you know, we kind of met in the middle. I started doing like the yoga thing, we were teaching at the same yoga studio. She hadn't really started stripping yet, I was still stripping, I wasn't taking yoga too serious. And now she started stripping again, and she's coming into this like older, like we're in our late 20s now, and she's able to like approach stripping again. And I'm leaving, well, I'm still in stripping, but like, you know, I'm pursuing this yoga business a little bit. And it's just like interesting, we're all on you know, our own paths and doing things at our own time, so never like comparing your situation to somebody else's, you know.
That's so dope. That's a very cool story. But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like perfect example of life.
Yeah. Well, cool. You told me you were working on your splits, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Everybody has, and I'm gonna put together, don't worry guys, I'm still gonna put together like a nice actual splits tutorial. But I figured today, why don't, since you're working on your splits, I'm down. Yesterday we did me and Fern Fatale did like headstands, and my core is just like, fuck you, Jessica. So I'm down for some yummy like hip opener, yinny, let's move into work towards our split type goodness. Does that sound great to you?
That sounds amazing.
Yes, we're gonna start on our backs today.
Okay.
Legs spread wide. I have my pillows. You got yours nearby?
Is this big enough?
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I have. I have two little pillows like that. We're just gonna place them on.
Okay.
Once we move into our splits, we might want them. You know what I mean? We want space to rest on. Bring your heels as wide as your mat. Feet fall open to the side. Our head's gonna rest on the ground. You can make you have options with your hands. You can keep them on your belly, shoulders stuck underneath you. This just is a nice secure feeling if you're feeling anxious or overly concerned with the audience, although it's just you and me now. But hands on the belly can be a nice way to ease anxiety. Arms down at the sides, palms up is a receiving gesture. If you're feeling a little more tired or low, this can be a nice way to ask for a little more energy. Palms down is a grounding gesture. If you're feeling more scattered or absent-minded, placing the palms down on the ground as a way to tell yourself to come back down and to be present. We allow the eyes to slowly close. The jaw softens. Our legs are heavy on the ground. Our shoulders melt back. And for a moment here, we just give ourselves permission to just be. No responsibility to the past or the future. Comfortable with just laying here on the mat. And beginning to turn our attention towards how we feel in this space. And appreciating the cool sensation of air as we inhale. And noticing the little tickle around the lips and the deflating of the lungs as we exhale. We start to tune into the physical sensations of our body. Minor aches and pains or tightness. but also areas that feel open, strong. Acknowledging our body for where it's at, but not judging it as good or bad, just a state of being. We're going to turn the attention towards the unsolicited thoughts passing through our mind. Acknowledging the chatter for what it is, just thoughts. And just like our physical body, we have control over our thoughts, so we let them go. And again, our attention turns towards that slow breathing, the sensations of our body. And from this space, we're going to begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes. We roll out our wrists and our ankles. We're going to reach our hands up and over our head. Find a big fingertip to toe stretch. And as you exhale, gently pull knees in towards the chest. Take your hands to your shins. Pull your knees as wide as your shoulders. And then down towards your shoulders. Now, everybody's different. So, for some of us, knees really wide is going to feel so good. For some of us, a little bit closer together. You're trying to find the space where you have the most space in your hips. And once you found that nice space, press your tailbone into the ground. Keep your head on the ground, suck your shoulders back. And then use the strength of your arms to pull your knees down towards the mat. Staying right here, we're going to slowly begin to rock side to side across our lower back, giving ourselves a little massage, a little love. And then as you're ready, we're going to keep our right knee hugged in. We're going to let our left leg go long on our mat. Nice. Right knee is going to come towards right shoulder. We're going to hug it into our side. You can take the crease of your right elbow and wrap your arm around your right knee. Taking your left hand and grabbing for your right wrist, we pull our right knee down towards our right shoulder a little bit more. This is wind releasing pose. Keep your left hip moving down towards the ground if it's lifting, and then keep pulling your right knee in. You might feel that nice stretch in the right hip. Let's roll our ankle to the right a few times. And then to the left. Nice. From here, we're going to release our knee. We're going to interlace our hands behind our right thigh. Yeah, and then we're going to extend our right leg up towards the sky. Good job. Now, instead of pulling your legs towards you, I want you to press the back of your right thigh into your hands until your arms are straight and strong, really pressing that leg forward. From here, reach your heel up towards the sky and then flex your toes towards your face. Now, suck your shoulders onto your mat. Keep pressing the back of your knee forward. Are you feeling any sensation in the back of your leg here?
Yes, girl, I feel it.
Hell yeah, and this is where we're going to stay, okay? Breathing here. And then as you're ready, let's gently bend that knee back into the chest. Let's give it one more big hug in. Then we'll bring our left knee up to meet the right, left knee by left shoulder. We're back to where we started. Our right leg goes long this time. So my left knee is towards my left shoulder outside of the ribs. Again, finding that place that you have the most space in your hip. We pull that left knee in towards left shoulder outside of our ribs. I like to take my left elbow crease, wrap it around my leg, taking my right hand and grabbing for my left wrist. I squeeze my elbow. I pull my arm in towards my bicep, pulling that knee a little closer towards my shoulder. Breathing here. Might roll that left ankle a few times. It could feel pretty good. And then when you're ready, no rush, we're going to release our knee, interlace our hands behind our left thigh, pressing our leg into our hands. We're reaching that heel up towards the sky. We're going to suck our shoulders onto our back, reaching our heel up to the sky, flexing our toes towards our face, and pressing our leg into our arms. You might even flex right toes towards the face, reaching your right heel out as you reach your left heel up. Again, still sucking shoulders back, breathing. Which side feels tighter for you?
Is which side tighter, the side that hurts more?
Usually, yes.
Okay, I feel like my right leg.
Cool, interesting. It'll be fun to explore that later too, as we move into some more of these poses.
Yeah, this one feels stiffer, but the other one hurts more.
Interesting. It could just be something also like something's pulled in one. We'll explore it a little bit more. It'll be nice.
Yeah, I do more of my splits on my right side, so that's probably pulled more, like you said.
It's so funny. I do more of my splits on my left side, but my left side hurts more. Yeah, we're just fucking ourselves up somewhere. We gotta work this out, girl. Let's bend our left knee back into our chest. Whew, give it a big squeeze in. Let's bring our right knee in to meet our left. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a nice hug. And then begin to rock forwards, backwards, until we come into a comfortable seat. And once you find your comfortable seat, we'll face towards each other for a minute. Yeah, we're setting up for a butterfly pose. So bring the bottom of your feet together in front of you. Some people call this cobbler's pose too. Bring the bottom of your feet together, bottom feet face towards each other. The knees are out to the side. Now, let's start off by bringing the feet about 2 feet in front of our groin. So they're kind of farther out in front of us right now. Walk your feet a little farther forward. Yeah, so it's a little bit, yeah, there it is. Beautiful. Gorgeous. From here, open the bottom of your feet up slightly. Take your ankles in your hands. We're going to inhale, reach the chest through the shoulders, pulling the shoulders back. Nice. How does that feel so far?
Good.
Are you getting any stretch in your hips so far?
I feel it, yeah, on my left side in my hips, and I feel it in my back too.
Cool, perfect. We're going to stay here for a moment. And as we're here, we're going to inhale through the nose. Imagine that breath moving into that left hip where you're feeling that tightness. And as you exhale, you're going to use the strength of your arms. You're going to keep your spine long. You're going to exhale, pull yourself forward a little bit, moving into the space you just created with your breath. Pausing here, yeah, you might walk your hands farther up your feet. That's okay. We're going to pause again. We're inhale, breathing to any spaces that feel tight. Exhale, using the arms, pulling ourselves forward just a little bit more. Pausing where you need to whenever it feels like you're getting stuck. And then we breathe into that space. Some of us might even start to walk the elbows down in front of the ankles. Really pressing the elbows into the shins to reach the chest forward. Wherever you are, breathing. Let's gently lift the shape up. Slowly coming back up. And walking the feet a little closer and towards the groin. Again, we open the bottom of the feet up, so walk the feet a little closer to you now.
Ooh, can't move.
There you go. We got this. There you go. Now, the last one, you should have felt it more on the outside of your hips. This time, you're going to feel it more on the inside of your hips, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to do the exact same thing. Hands come to the ankles. We're going to
Sorry, my
inhale.
dog is about to go crazy.
Get him. This is your private session, babe. Get the puppy.
My
What's he
cousin,
doing?
my cousin just got home and he's locked up, so he's about to go crazy for her. So
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Hands on the ankles. We're going to pull the chest through the shoulders. And then same thing here. As you exhale, we're going to slowly begin to hinge at the hips, not round at the spine. Hinge at the hips. Eventually, the elbows might start to come in front of the shins. Hands come together. We'll press the elbows into the shins as we reach the collarbone forward. Only do the elbows in front of the shins if that feels good. Otherwise, just keep walking the hands forward and working on lengthening the spine forward. That's fine. Breathing wherever we've gone. Focusing more today on slow, conscious opening rather than heating it up and stretching it out real quick. Just gently begin to inhale. Space to the spaces that are tight. And then exhale, slowly begin to move into them. We'll take one more big breath in. One more slow breath out. We'll slowly begin to lift our way up into a seat. Nice. We're going to keep our right knee bent in. We're going to extend our left leg out to the left. Yeah, I call it grandma movements. It's all right. Grandma or grandpa, wherever you're at today, okay?
I feel like once you come out of that, you're just like,
It's gonna, if you wait till we get that, these are our easy starter poses. Wait until we get into some of these real stretches. I'm about to fuck your life up in the best way possible, okay? Let's bring the bottom of our foot to the inside of our thigh. We're going to bring our hands on either side of our left leg. We're going to turn our chest towards our left toes. Yep. So starting here, sitting up tall first. We're shifting our chest to face towards our left toes flex towards our face. Sit up as tall as you can. Take a big breath in, and then trying to keep your spine long, begin to walk yourself forward over your left leg. Pausing where you need to. The hands might start to come towards the feet. If the hands grab for the foot, rather than rounding in the spine, pull on your foot. Your toes come back towards your face, and you use that to pull your chest farther forward. We're breathing here. When you've reached the peak of your pose, you might let the forehead just relax down. Nice. And we're slowly going to lift up. Yeah. Our left hand is going to come inside of our left leg. And we're going to begin to walk our left hand forward. Our right hand is going to reach up and over. We're feeling a nice stretch on the left side of the right side of the body. Yeah. And we're slowly going to lift back up. Nice. So we're going to switch sides. Left leg comes in, right leg goes out. This right leg is out to the side. My left foot is inside of my right thigh, but I'm turning my hips and chest slightly towards my right leg. My right toes are flexing towards my face. I'm sitting up tall. I'm going to take a big inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to begin to walk myself over my right leg, working on keeping my shoulders even with each other here. If I begin to walk my hands forward towards my foot, I'm not just rounding in the spine. I'm using that. I'm pulling my foot back. I'm using this to pull my chest forward. Breathing here. I'm feeling this on the outside of my left hip. How about you?
on the back of my knee.
Yeah, tight hamstrings. And slowly begin to lift up. Our right hand comes inside of our right leg. We begin to walk ourselves over to the right. Our left hand comes up and over. We're going to reach and stretch. Yeah. And as you're ready, we're going to slowly lift back up. We're going to bring our left leg long now too. We're setting up for a wide-legged forward fold.
Woo.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So we're going to bring one hand in front of us, one hand behind us, and we're going to use this to bump our hips forward while keeping our legs in the same kind of line that they're in right now. So we're just trying to widen this a little bit more until you're getting a nice stretch just sitting up. Yeah. Now bring the hands behind the back, fingertips on the ground. Press into your fingertips, puff up your chest. As you do that, let your tailbone tilt forward slightly. Are you feeling a stretch on the inside of your thighs?
Yes.
Cool. Option to stay right here. Toes flexing towards the face for now. If you would like to move a little bit deeper, the hands can come in front of the legs. I'm going to start to move there. You don't have to if it doesn't feel good for you. Pause where you need to. From here, I'm working on keeping my spine long, from my tailbone all the way to the crown of my head. I'm working that spine long. I'm beginning to walk my hands forward. When things start to get nice and tight, I pause there. I breathe into the tightness. Inhales. And as I exhale, I start to slowly crawl my way a little bit farther forward. Eventually, when you reach your peak, when you can't keep your spine long anymore, you're going to slowly allow the shoulders to relax forward. Breathing here, we're going to be here for about a minute and a half. Every inhale you take, imagine your breath moving to your hips. And every exhale, we're just melting the hips forward a little bit more, melting the chest down, lengthening the sides of our body. How's this feeling for you?
Really good.
It's one of my favorites too. If you start to feel like you're ready to move a little bit deeper, you're welcome. Just use that same method of inhaling breath and space to your tightness, lengthening the spine, and then reaching the chest forward as you begin to hinge and fold a little bit more. Take 10 more breaths here. Man, I hate the time limits on these Instagram lives. Like this session, I wish we could just do a nice 90-minute, just like take our time in every one of these, chat it up as much as we wanted. Like the next step for these Strippa Yoga lives is 100% going to like a Zoom and then putting them on YouTube so we have as much time as we want. I'm so mad we have to rush this. It feels so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's slowly start to walk ourselves back up. Ugh. Bending the knees a little bit. I like to just slowly push the knees towards each other like I'm closing a book. Ugh, I can tap out the knees on the way. Eventually, we're going to land facing towards one of the edges of our mat, the long edges of our mat, or short edges of our mat, excuse me. And we're going to set up for just one staff pose to forward fold here. And we're going to make it into some deep, yummy hip openers. Does that sound great?
Yeah.
Cool. So we're sitting up tall. Our legs are long. Remove your butt from underneath you. So we just got to remove the fleshy part of our butt so more of the bone is on the ground. Yeah. Same thing on the thighs here. We're going to flex the toes back towards the face. We're going to sit up tall. You might even press your palms into the ground on either side of you to lengthen your spine up. Option to stay here, or what I'm going to choose to do is bend my knees slightly. I'm going to take one of those pillows. I'm going to place it underneath my knees. And then from here, I'm going to keep this spine long. I'm using a pillow underneath me too because I'm a baby, but you don't have to. From here, I'm going to keep my spine long. I'm going to reach my heels out I'm going to slowly begin to walk my way forward, just like I did in my wide-legged forward fold. Pausing when my spine starts to round. Inhale, pulling my chest forward. Exhale, walking the hands out a little bit further. Yeah, trying to get length here in the back of the legs, the sides, the spine. And eventually, when I can't fold any farther, I can let my head relax forward. But again, trying to lead this fold with my chest before allowing that to happen. I'm going to right now choose to grab the outside edges of my feet and then pull them back towards me, toes back towards me, because I'm just looking for a little more sensation. Wherever you found, reach the crown of your head forward, pull your shoulders back. Breathe. How's this one feeling for you?
Good. You have some very creative moves.
It's just yoga. They're not mine, I promise.
No, I've never done, I haven't done a lot of these moves.
Just gently lift our way back up. One of my favorite things, so how you've traveled dance a lot, I've traveled yoga a lot. Let's tap out our knees. I've got to go to a lot of studios in a lot of different cities. And every studio has like a different style and like different cues and stuff. And I've got to pick up a lot of like yummy, yummy stuff. So let's move from here to a tabletop shape. All right, we're gonna play with something. I haven't taught this one on live yet, so let's see how it goes. We'll see how fun it is to teach just verbally, okay? So we're in our tabletop shape. Our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are underneath our hips. You're a smart girl, though. I literally I think everyone's awesome and everybody's great in their different ways, but some people definitely like comprehend verbal cues easier than other people, and you're definitely one of those people. So
Thank you.
yeah. We're gonna extend our left leg long behind us. Our left toes will flex towards our face. Our left pinky toe points straight down, and we're dropping our left hip down so it's in line with our right. Our core engages to help keep our hips even. From here, I'm going to begin to bend my knee so my bottom of my foot goes up towards the sky. From here, I'm going to begin to bring my left knee out to the left, almost like a peeing dog. And then I'm going to bring my left knee forward towards my left shoulder, and then I'm going to bring it back down towards the ground. Did that make sense? Cool. Same thing, other side. We're going to extend our right leg long, right toes point down, core engaged. We're going to bend our right knee so our right heel points up to the sky. We're going to bring our right knee out to the right like a peeing dog, and then down towards our right wrist. Whew. And then down towards the ground. Whew. So it's just, we're moving our hips in all different directions here. We're just doing it really consciously and slowly. Did that feel okay for you?
I feel really good.
Yeah, for me it feels really intense, but I like it too. So we're gonna do that same thing on the opposite side again. Left leg extends long. We bend the left knee. We bring it out to the side, out towards the wrist, and then down to the ground. Right leg comes up. Right knee bends, out to the side, down towards our wrist, back towards our other knee. Cool. From here, we're going to bring our right foot outside of our right wrist. Whew. From there, we're going to start to, actually I lied, come back to tabletop. I want to do half pigeon before we do lizard pose. So from here, let's bring our right knee outside of our right wrist. Whew. Yeah, perfect. And then bring your right heel in front of your left knee. There you go. Now tuck your left toes, walk your left knee back as far as feels good. Yeah, there you go. Untuck your left toes. With your hands as wide as your shoulders, make sure your right knee is still outside of your right wrist. Look back towards your left leg. Make sure your left knee points down, your left toes point back. Pull your right hip back slightly as you push your left hip forward. Sit up tall, take a big breath in. Exhale, stay here or gently begin to fold forward over your front leg. Nice. So what I recommend for you, rather than keeping your forearms on the ground and letting your chest relax down, try bringing your forearms down to the ground in front of you and maybe stacking your arms on top of each other and then placing your forehead on top of your arms. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, perfect. And that way you're lengthening your sides forward, your spine forward a little bit more. Even here, we keep the weight evenly distributed between our hips, and we're continuing to push the left hip forward slightly, pull the right hip back. Breathing here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's my favorite. I love when I'm giving verbal cues, like slight adjustments, and I know when someone's got it. So like, ooh.
Yeah, I do this move a lot, but like you showed me how to take it deeper just now.
It's literally, I tell everyone, it's those little tiny adjustments. I feel like sometimes in my, like, people come to my classes a lot. I can always tell who's my regular student at my yoga studio and who's like a new student, because my yoga students have their alignment down. Like, that's our focus. We move slow, everyone's safe, everyone's strong. And then I'll sub another class and people will just be running wild. I'm like, how are you guys safe? The Capricorn in me is like, the chaos, I can't handle it. We're just breathing here, letting that hip open up. This one should feel so good after that wide-legged forward fold. Your hips are going to be so open, but so sore tomorrow. Just so, or they're going to be so open today, but so sore tomorrow. Heads up.
Oh, I believe it. Nice. I want to play with something a little bit here, just because you're taking the verbal cues so well. Are you down to play a little bit? Okay.
All right, let's walk ourselves up to a seated position. We're still in this half pigeon. Good. Bend your left knee behind you. Just bend it so the bottom of your foot is up to the sky, 90-degree angle. Now take your left hand, or wait, let's start with the right hand. Take your right hand and grab for the inside of your ankle. Cool. Now kick your ankle into your hand so it's helping to keep your chest lifted. Tighten your core and then bring your left hand around your left ankle. So the fingers are, now kick your foot into your hands and pull your chest back. Woo.
Woo.
When you're ready, gently release the left hand back down. Release the foot, release the right hand back down. How did that feel?
Good.
Hell yeah. It's a shoulder opener. It's like, yum, 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 yum. From here, let's move back to our tabletop. I'm having too much fun with this session. This is the type of shit I do at home when I'm all by myself. This is literally exactly the type of sequence I would do by myself.
Dope.
Let's bring our left knee outside of our left wrist. Left heel in front of right knee. Let's tuck our back toes. Let's walk our back knee back. And if you're somebody, and I know you're not, but for those watching, if you're somebody who this pose is like, fuck, just take a pillow or blanket, something like that, and just place it underneath your hips. Go run and grab it. You're not in a class. No one's judging you. We'll be here. The knees are as wide as, the left knee is as wide as the left wrist, a little bit farther out than it. We look over our right shoulder, right knee points down, right toes point back. We square our chest forward. That means bring it in line with the front edge of our mat. We try to do the same thing with our hips. We pull our left hip back slightly. We push our right hip forward. We stay here or we begin to fold forward. And if you're somebody who this hurts your knees on either side, a lot of us strippers can have very sensitive knees. You're going to take a different version of this pose. You'll come to your back. You'll bring the bottom of your right foot to the ground. Your left ankle will come across your right knee. It's a figure 4 pose. So just know that anytime in Strippa Yoga, you're welcome to bump it up or take it down a level. Breathing here, again, we're welcome to stay on the forearms, but if you have it in you, lowering down to the forearms until the forearms are on the ground and then letting the forehead rest on top of them can be really yummy. Keeping that weight evenly distributed, we're pulling our left hip back, we're pushing that right hip forward. And this is another one of those ones I'm like angry that we have to get out of. I'm like, meh. When you're ready, let's gently walk our way up to our hands. We're going to play again. We're going to bend that right knee up behind us. Left hand grabs for the inside of that ankle. We kick that foot into our hands. We're going to reach back with our right hand. Both hands around the ankle. We're kicking the foot into the hands. We're opening the chest. The hips are staying squared. Yes. Kick, 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 kick. And we gently release left hand, right hand. That foot comes down to the ground. And as you're ready, we're going to set it back to that tabletop shape. Woo! Hell yeah. How's that feeling so far? If you need to wiggle out the hips a little, yeah, go for it. From here, let's bring our knees together. Now separate your heels wider than your knees. So knees together, feet wide. And slowly walk yourself back until your butt is sitting down in between your calves. But your knees are together. If this is too intense, take a blanket or a block or a pillow and set it under your butt. How does this one feel for you?
Different. I don't know what it's. I feel like it's working something I've never felt before.
Is it, you feeling it in the knees?
I feel it like in my calves. Can you stretch your, not your calves, but like your shins?
Interesting. Try taking your hands to your calves and then moving your calves out to the side slightly.
Yeah, maybe I have too much like fat sitting in the way.
Yeah, move your knees out, your heels out just a little wider. That might help a little.
Okay, so I feel it's like the top of your ankle.
Yeah, it can be. Everybody's gonna feel it different. So what that tells me about your body is that you have a lack of ankle flexibility. So that you're not used to pointing your toes as much as you're used to flexing them, probably. So.
That's true. Sometimes when I point my toes, like I get a cramp.
Yep. So this is good for you. So we're gonna keep our hands down by our sides. We're gonna press into them. We're gonna lift that spine high. If this feels okay, you can start to slowly walk yourselves back to your forearms. Yeah. Keep those knees together though. Keep those knees. This one we got to be really gentle in because our knees are delicate from stripping, so we want to be nice to them.
Right.
If it feels good, forearms. Yeah. How's that feeling? Okay?
Really good.
Nice. Let's breathe here for a little bit. I'm going to walk myself forward on my mat too. And then if this still feels good, begin to crawl yourself all the way onto your back. Be careful. Let the lower back arch and round. Yeah, there you go. And then the arms will come up above the head. You're going to grab opposite elbows, making a little box above your head. This is hero's pose. Do you feel okay?
This shit hurt a little bit.
Then come up back to your forearms if it hurts. But notice the difference between discomfort and pain. So if it's hurting you, yeah, forearms will come back down to the ground and you'll slowly lift. And this is where you'll pause, okay? Back with the arm. I was just taking you, I was like pushing you a little bit there because I was about to say that's a really advanced pose. So the fact that you were even.
Like, I would say it's like a pulling, but it's like I probably, if I would have just breathed a little bit more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It probably would have, it wouldn't have hurt at all.
Let's come into it again. You got this. Slowly move back. Let the lower back arch. Coming all the way down to your back. The arms come long, down by your sides. Yeah. And then we slowly bring the arms up above the head. We're grabbing opposite elbows.
Are my shoulder blades on the ground?
Yeah, your shoulders come all the way down. Your arms are going to come up above your head. So your forearms come down to the ground behind you. Like your arms are resting on the ground behind your head.
Oh.
Yeah, so you grab opposite elbows above your head. Yeah, and then they just rest on the ground like you're just relaxing here. And we're going to take big inhales. Slow exhales. Acknowledging the difference between pain and discomfort. Remembering that discomfort happens in our life. And the uncomfortable shapes in yoga gives us an opportunity to notice how we deal with this discomfort. Do we immediately run away from it? Do we get angry? Do we get sad? Do we sit with it? Learning and practicing reacting in a way that is non-reactive and instead just noticing. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring the arms back down by the sides, hands come by the feet. You're going to inch your elbows up underneath you. Your head is going to stay back as you crawl yourself back up to your forearms and back up to your hands. Head will lift last. Slowly make your way forward. Tap out the feet. The knees can come wide. We'll find a child's pose. Yeah. Oh.
I feel like nothing I've ever done has been effective until today.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that's like the best compliment. It's the same thing like working with a personal trainer. I never worked out until I worked out with a personal trainer, you know?
Same.
And slowly make our way back to a tabletop shape. Let me check our time. I'm just having so much fun. We haven't even gotten to the splits yet. Oh my God, our class is supposed to end in 5 minutes. What's your schedule like? What do you have to do right after this?
I'm quarantining, so.
So when this ends, because it's about to kick us off, and I'm just having too much fun, what do you think of me? Just like coming right back in and finishing this off. We have like two more poses only, and then a shavasana.
I'm with it.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm gonna end this right now. Then share it because what's gonna interrupt us if not. I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna share it. I'm going to hop right back on live. Come join me, and then we're going to finish out the end of our session. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
We're about to have our splits right now. Are you ready?
Shoot, my legs feel like noodles, so I'm
excited to see you right now. All right, guys, I'll see you in just a second, okay? So having a yoga studio in your living room, this is my yoga studio, is so cool because I just get to decide what time the class ends. So right now, if you guys were with us, Sexy Spiritual Gangster and me were in the middle of our yoga class, and I realized that I was definitely running over on time. So we decided to hop back in here and finish off our session. We have 2 more poses. Hey, Bunny Baby May, I'm happy you're here. Hey, Tati. So we're just waiting for that gorgeous, sexy spiritual gangster to hop back in here. And then we'll finish out our session. We're almost done, guys. I'm sorry. We're almost done, okay? Ooh, hey, Yazzie. Hi. Hey, there she is. Perfect.
We on?
First yoga instructor ever right now.
Oh, it's frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good now.
Cool. I said, am I the worst yoga instructor ever? I'm like, this is what time class is. By the way, we're going to add 20 more minutes at the end. I'm sorry. Thank you. Are you sure you're really down to do this? Because if not, I'll finish it by myself.
Oh, yeah, girl, let's get into it. Let's get into the splits. I'm ready.
I told you already that this session that I needed it to go longer. There wasn't enough time. All right. So we're back in our tabletop right now. We have this pose, and then we have our splits after this one, then our shavasana. We're going to bring the bottom of our left foot, we're going to do with left leg first, outside of our left hand. Bend into your left knee so your left knee is above your left ankle. Now tuck your right toes and walk your right knee back as much as is comfortable while keeping your left knee above your left ankle. There you go. Now angle your left toes to point towards 11 o'clock. Now keep your hands on the ground, but reach your collarbone through your shoulders, and as you do, let your hips drop down and forward. I'm gonna come check on you. Yeah, this is called lizard pose. How's this feeling for you?
Good, good. I do this one sometimes.
So if you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, lower it down to your forearms. There it is. Now, instead of rounding in your upper back, think of reaching your collarbone forward.
Woo!
Yeah. Hell yeah, I love those minor adjustments. We're going to pause. We're going to pause here for a minute, breathing. And then from here, we're going to move this into a slightly deeper variation, and then we'll find our splits after this one. On each inhale, we're creating space in that left hip. On each exhale, we're slowly softening the hips down into that space. Nice. And slowly come up to our hands. Spread your right fingertips wide. Press your right palm into the ground. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Now press your left hand into your left thigh to open the right side of your chest up towards the sky.
Oh, yeah. This is like my favorite move ever.
Wait, so left hand into the left thigh to open your chest towards the left.
So turn this way too?
There it is. There you go. Yep. Okay, now pause here. We're going to bend our right knee behind us. And we're going to grab for the outside, the pinky toe edge of our right foot. Yeah, you got it. You got it. There you go. Yep, yep, yep. Now lift your hips up so your hips come closer to your heel. Lift your hips up. Look at me real quick. Lift your hips up. So bring them up. Yep, yep, yep. So you're right here right now. It's okay. You're going to lift your hips up. There you go. Grab for the outside of the ankle. Other side of your foot. There you go. Yep, there it is. Now keeping your heel and your glute connected, begin to drop your hips down and forward. But keep opening your chest up. You got this. This is that discomfort versus pain thing we were talking about. All right, open your chest. Pause. Open the chest. Breathe. Now lift the hips up. Now try to keep that connection. You're only going to lower as far as you can. Slowly lower down. Keep opening the chest up, though, please. Keep open. Nope, the chest stays open.
When you say lower,
bend into your front knee and lower your hips down and forward. Bend into your front knee. Nope, bend into your front leg. There. And then begin to open your chest up at the same time. Look to your left. Yep. There you go. It's called twisted monkey.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
We're breathing. You're going to feel this intensely in that left hip. You have to come back to that slow breathing. Those long inhales. Slow exhales. Gently release your back foot. Don't let it slingshot. There you go. Right hand to the ground. There you go. And then back to tabletop. Just shake it out for a minute.
Oh!
Whew, shake it out a little bit. Does that feel okay? It's intense, but good, right?
Very intense.
A lot of people think that the splits is just about hamstring flexibility, but it also has to do with quad flexibility, glute flexibility, hip flexibility. So we're going to move into all of that. So we got to do that same thing on the other side, and then we're going to start moving into that splits.
Ah!
I know. So the biggest thing, look at me. The biggest thing is that we stay calm. In the beginning of class, we did that slow, calm breathing. It's really normal when things start to get a little more intense for our mind to be like, fuck, oh my God, la, 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 la. But when it's like that, we're not able to notice the difference between that pain and the discomfort. We're not able to notice our feelings coming up, but that is part of the feelings that come up. So noticing that we kind of lose control in uncomfortable situations and taking this time to practice maintaining control in uncomfortable situations. Cool. So we're calm again. We're going to bring our left foot outside of our left hand. Yeah. Our right foot, other side, sorry. I lied to you. Yeah. There you go. We tuck our back toes. We walk that back knee back as far as feels good. There you go. Keep bending into your front leg. Angle those toes out slightly to about 1 o'clock. There you go. Staying here, reaching the chest forward or beginning to lower to the forearms. Yeah, there we go. There you go. Nice. And now what's good too is now you know what to expect on this side, you know?
Right.
So coming back to that slow breathing. And there's a method behind the breathing. You know, it's not just us saying breathing, breathing, breathing because it sounds so cool in yoga. It's, you know, for me personally, yoga or breathing in yoga is the anchor that I use to keep my mind from running off. So instead of thinking, fuck, this pose hurts, oh my God, I'm tired, and my cat is cute, I'm hungry, whatever, I can't think of any of that if instead I'm thinking, my breath is cool as it moves into my nose. My belly relaxes as I exhale. I feel a tickle in the nostrils as I breathe in, and around my lips as I exhale. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly come up onto the hands. We're keeping that breath going. You're going to be able to look at me this time, so we got this, all right? We're going to keep our left fingertips spread wide. Our right hand is going to come to our right thigh. I'm pressing into my right hand to spin the left side of my chest up towards the sky. My shoulder blades come together. From here, I'm bending my left knee behind me. My left heel is by my left glute. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm grabbing for the outside edge, the pinky toe edge of my left foot, so my shoulder's opening up. From here, I'm going to begin to lift my hips so my heel and glute connect. I'm going to try to maintain that connection. My chest is still opening to the right as I slowly begin to lower my hips down and forward. Good. Breathing here. Keep opening the chest. Keep pulling those shoulder blades together. There it is. Nice. You got this. And let's gently, with an exhale, release the back foot. That hand comes back to the ground and we find that tabletop.
Woo.
So, serious question for you and for everybody watching now. How much easier was that side when you were staying calm?
Oh, that side was super easy.
And it's like maybe it was physical too, like maybe, you know, your right side's more open, but I truly believe a lot of it is we just hype ourselves up. You know what I mean? Our body is capable of so much more than our mind would have us believe, you know, and so it's about overcoming that. Just like we were taught, you know, when you were little, you hurt yourself even a little bit. Oh my God, why is your baby? I feel bad for you. And we kind of, I think, like take that into our adulthood. Like anytime we feel anything that's not good, we're just like, stay away from me. But sometimes like we have to work through that discomfort to like get to the goodness. So
For real.
So it's time for us to work on our splits now. Make sure you have that pillow nearby. If you don't have a pillow right now, please go and grab one. Yeah, we're going to need those. So from here, we'll start with our left leg first. We're going to bring our left foot in between our hands.
You said our left foot?
Yep. Yeah. Now, same thing. We want our left knee above our left ankle. We're going to tuck our right toes, and we're going to walk our right knee back as far as feels good. So we're in a low lunge position. Nice. From here, come to your fingertips. We're not going to move our feet. We're just going to bring our hips back. Yep, pause here. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to flex the left toes towards our face. And we're going to walk the hands back so our hands are below our shoulders. Now, from here, I'm going to pull my left hip back. I'm going to push my right hip forward. And then instead of rounding in my spine and thinking forehead to shin, I'm going to think of reaching my collarbone towards my toes. Nice. How does this feel?
Very effective.
Yay. Let's breathe here, flexing even the left pinky toe back towards the face. And let's slowly shift the weight forward, low lunge legs again, walking the hands forward. We're going to heel toe our left foot forward 5 inches. And then the exact same thing, we're going to shift the hips back. We're going to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to flex the toes towards the face. We're going to pull our left hip back. We're going to reach our right hip forward. And then instead of rounding in the spine here, we're going to reach the collarbone past the toes. Breathing here. And if you're already getting the most sensation, you guys can stay here. But I'm going to invite you, gorgeous, to stick with me, and we'll continue moving a little bit deeper. We're going to shift the weight forward one more time. I'm going to bring that pillow this time. I'm going to place it underneath my hips. It's right in front of my right hip underneath me. So like I'm going to sit on it almost like a little saddle. From here, I'm going to begin to walk my left foot forward, bringing my hips all the way to the ground. But as I do that, and if you need 2 pillows, put 2 fucking pillows under you, no big deal. As I do that, I'm making sure not to dump the weight onto my left hip, allowing my right knee to open up. As I start to lower into this, my right knee is still pointing straight down. I'm slowly bringing my hips down to the ground. Once my hips come as low as they're going to go today, I'm going to pause. I'm going to pull my left hip back. I'm going to push my right hip forward. From here, I'm going to walk my hands back. I'm going to work on sitting up tall. And as I breathe here, I'm still pulling my left hip back, right hip forward, right knee down. I'm trying to soften into the hips. How does this feel for you, okay? You got this. We're going to bring our left hand inside of our left leg. Left hand inside. We're going to slowly fold forward inside of our leg. And we're going to swing our left leg behind us, coming to our bellies. Just move that pillow off. Yeah, fold forward and swing your left leg behind you. You got it? You got it? Yeah. And just come to your belly for a minute and just shake out the hips. Oh. Yummy or what?
Yeah, feels good.
Yes, you were very close.
That's actually my bad side. I think you're going to get me to do the full split on my right side.
Hell yes. All right, let's do this. The girl I'm having tomorrow wants to work on splits too, so my fucking hips are going to be dead.
Yeah.
But I need it too, so.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in, doing it with you guys.
Yes, I'm ready to see the video of your splits. Like after this, I'm trying to get that full split video picture of you on my Instagram, you know. Let's push ourselves back to that tabletop. We got our last side. After this, we're hitting that Shavasana. It's going to be so yummy and well-deserved. We're going to bring our right foot inside of our hands. Boop. My right knee is above my right ankle. I'm going to tuck my left toes. I'm going to walk my left knee back as far as feels comfortable while keeping my right knee above my right ankle. From here, I'm going to keep my feet where they are. I'm shifting my hips back. That means I'm not sitting on my calf. My hip is above my knee. From here, walk the hands back. Can you bring your hands on either side of your foot for me? There you go. Walk your hands back so hands are underneath the shoulders, then flex right toes towards the face. There you go. Now pull right hip back as you push left hip forward. And then reach the crown of your head forward. Reach your collarbone forward. We're not rounding in our spine here. We're reaching the spine long and then hinging at the hips. Keep pulling left hip forward, right hip back. Breathing. Right toes towards the face, even that right pinky toe. We're going to shift the weight forward, low lunge legs. We're walking that right foot forward about 5 inches only this time. We're not moving all the way yet. From here, we're shifting the hips back again, half splits. We're walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're pulling right hip back. We're pushing left hip forward. We're pulling the right toes towards the face as we reach the collarbone forward. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, we're shifting the weight forward again. I'm going to place that pillow underneath my hips. Yeah. I'm going to slowly begin to walk my right foot forward. Eventually allowing my weight to settle on the pillow. I'm pausing here. I'm looking behind me. My left knee still points down. My left toes still point back. I'm going to pull my right hip back. I'm going to push my left hip forward, squaring the hips to the best of my ability. You got to work on that one. So pull your right hip back, push your left hip forward. You got this. There it is. I know it sucks. I know it does. Now keep your hands on either side of your leg. Try to sit up tall. Breathe here. Softening the hips down. My left knee still points down. My weight is evenly distributed. To exit, I fold forward inside of my right leg, both arms inside. And I just shift the weight onto my left hip. I swing my right leg behind me. I come to my belly. I'm just wiggling it out. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know, whatever you got to do. When you arrive, bring your hands stacked on top of each other. Let your forehead rest on top of the back of your hands. And just shake the ass a little bit. It should feel so yummy. And as you're ready, we're just going to flip onto our backs, preparing for our well-deserved Shavasana.
Oh, yeah.
So, are you okay with doing one more quick twist before we do Shavasana?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So let's do a quick, just little tiny twist. Let's bring both knees into our chest. I'm just craving it right now. You might be too. And then let's just let both knees fall over to the left. Let your right arm extend to the right. Your gaze follows your fingertips. Yeah, let both knees fall all the way over. There it is. Gaze follows your right fingertips. The knees stack on top of each other. And gently come back through center. Let both knees fall to the right. Your left arm extends to the left. Your gaze follows your fingers. And as you're ready, let's gently come back to center. Knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Bring your forehead towards your knees. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then as you're ready, exhale. Let the legs go long. Let the feet go wide, wider than the mat. Take up some space. We have it. It's yours. Let the shoulders relax back. I'm going to keep that pillow under my head because it feels nice. So option to do that if you want. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. And then let it all go. Allowing the eyelids to close and the jaw to soften as we meld towards the mat. Shavasana. We begin to slowly deepen the breath again. Starting to bring small movements to the fingers and toes, the wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, we reach hands up and over the head, a big fingertip to toe stretch. And then we slowly roll off to our favorite side, pausing in a familiar fetal shape for just a moment. Your bottom arm can be a pillow under your head. Your top arm can rest on the ground in front of you. Taking a moment here to appreciate the ground beneath us, the earth, the constant support and nourishment that it gives. And gratitude to our bodies for being our vessels and getting us through each day, all of the incredible things it does for us. And lastly, just grateful for our lives in general. And the fact that we exist and are experiencing and feeling at all is a miracle. And keeping that in mind, we slowly lift our way up into a seat. Eyes stay closed. And if they open on the journey up, it's not a big deal. You can close them again when you arrive. We're sitting up tall here. Hands can place somewhere that makes sense for you. I like hands at heart center. This is just a sign of gratitude in our practice. Ending this practice, acknowledging that there is a universal energy that dwells within us. And at the source of this energy, you and I are truly one. We bring our thumb tips to forehead center. And together we bow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay! You did so good, friend. Oh, that was too good. You're the first one that I've gone over on where I'm like, nah, this is too good. We gotta keep going.
Like, girl, seriously, you like worked me out. Like, I'm hoping I remember all the moves we did because like all of them hurt in the right way. And like you're so talented. Like, this was awesome.
Thank you. Well, my intention, what I've been doing, sometimes I'm just like too lazy because it takes a while to do, but I've been screen recording some of the sessions. It's like it's kind of old school. We have to do it, but then posting some of them on YouTube. And I'm definitely going to try to do that one with this one and make it all one longer piece because this was just such a yummy sequence. You were such a great, easy, fun student to have. So I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. Yes, yes. I'm excited. Let me know how it goes with putting it on YouTube. I'll definitely be happy to share.
As soon as I get it up, I'll send it over to you. And good luck with Hustler Edu. Everybody, if you loved her vibe today, make sure you go and you follow along with that and check out what kind of information she has for you guys. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.